Okay, good afternoon and howdy.
Howdy.
Welcome to the final presentations of this Aggies Invent. It's been focusing on the Internet of Things. For those of you live, you're going to see some live demonstrations. For those of you online, we'll keep you entertained throughout the rest of the presentations. I think you're going to find things to be very interesting. We've had 7 teams who've been concentrating on solving design challenges, very unique design challenges throughout this weekend. They spent a total of about 48 hours, sleep deprived completely. Everybody's completely exhausted, but they're ready to entertain you and show you all of their creations and continue on. For those of you, we're going to provide you with 10-minute presentations. Inside the 10-minute presentations will be 90 seconds of video, so that you'll get a chance to see exactly what these students have been doing throughout the entire weekend. A couple of pictures that I want to illustrate is we had the registration, and then we started in with the dance. We started in pulling together and making sure that teams were formed. So everyone self-formed their own teams and put things together. Then we went on to a design phase where understand the requirements, understand what kinds of designs. This is a structured design environment, and then we went in and started building the equipment that people are starting to do. We had some very interesting prototypes, everything from using every kind of material that we possibly could have available to us, from cups to grass to dirt to teddy bears to everything that we could come up with, so that the students could show you what they've been able to create throughout this entire time. I can't thank people enough, because we were sponsored by Texas Instruments and Accenture this week. Let's give both of those companies a round of applause. The support that we've received throughout this week has been simply outstanding, and we have to thank the mentors and the people who have been here throughout the entire weekend. Without them, we would not have the support, we would not have the results that we're seeing. This has been one of the best Aggies Invents. This is number 12. So this has been one of the best Aggies Invents because we have more working prototypes and more working equipment and more working solutions in this one because of the support that we've had on both the technology and the strategy and the business side. It's simply been outstanding. What we're going to do is the presentations will be about 10 minutes. As I said, there'll be 90 seconds video in each one of the presentations that'll kind of get started. The teams are competing for $1,000 in first prize, $750 in second prize, and $500 for third prize. In addition, what we do here at Texas A&M University, and in particular in the Engineering Innovation Center, is we support teams who want to continue on with their product. Let's say there's a startup. Let's say they want to patent something. Let's say they'd like to create a company around their idea. We support and plug everyone into entrepreneurial activities that are going on throughout this campus and continue to support any team who is interested. We've had over 80 teams go through an Aggies Invent so far. 20 to 25 of them are continuing on. We've had a couple of provisional patents, and we've had a couple of companies form. So we want and encourage anyone who's interested. We have funding, we have space, we have support, we have mentors, we have an entire network ready to support you. Let me introduce our judges this morning. This is Miss Randy Dent. Okay, she's from Texas Instruments. She's University Relationships. And Mr. Steve Heinrich and Bonnet. Okay, thanks. And he's from Texas Instruments as well. And Bart has been here as well, Texas Instruments. Steve and Bart have been here throughout the weekend, so you have been able to see them going on. Sam Mallison. Okay, Sam. Thank you so much for being here from Accenture. I think some of the things that y'all are doing, and the team has been, and Salim, you have been here as well from Texas Instrument, from Accenture, and your team has been outstanding in helping us. So the students have benefited from everybody who has been here. Thank you very much. My name is Rodney Boehm. I'm the director of Aggies Invent. I'm also an associate professor of practice here. I teach innovation and entrepreneurship. It has been my pleasure to help host things, and I'll introduce a couple of more important people throughout the rest of the presentations as we're going on. So without that, let's get things started, and let's introduce our first team, which is Fred. If I remember right, you need it all the way up, don't you? You need the sound all the way up?
Yes.
Or not?
Pretty high.
It's all the way up. Here you go.
Thank you.
Howdy.
Howdy.
My name's Adam Orndane. I'm a biomedical engineering graduate student.
My name's Megan. I'm a sophomore biomedical engineering major.
My name's Ryan Beltran. I am a freshman computer science major.
I'm Pranati, and I'm a sophomore in electrical engineering.
And together we are Friends of the Future Incorporated. And today we're going to talk to you about FRED, the Friendly Robotic Emotion Detector. So the problem statement that we had for this competition was to develop a toy or robot that can take in audio and then process it and then respond accordingly. So we immediately thought of some sort of toy. And the reason why is because social and mental health disorders are increasing in today's world. Several disorders that will benefit from
And other mental disorders become more prevalent in our society. We think that a device like FRED will become very useful, especially in the depressed childhood range. About 50% of adults that currently have mental disorders say that they were diagnosed as children, but they were not treated properly, and therefore it has just gotten worse as they've gotten older. Also, 1 in 12 kids say that they do deliberately self-harm. And these kind of statistics are just increasing, which is why we believe that FRED will really help.
So our target consumers for this product are parents with children who have depression and are not very social and are not able to express themselves. So FRED will help these children talk to them, and because it's an inanimate object, but it's also a toy, which is a teddy bear, so they'll be more comfortable talking to it. And another target consumer that could possibly be is our mental health professionals, and insurance could help cover for this toy. A lot of times we underestimate the problems of a child and believe that it's just a phase and they'll get over it. To us, that might be the case, but to them, that's not always the case. And that's a very big deal because, as we said earlier, this might increase later in life and lead to serious depression and suicidal thoughts.
So when we got the problem statement, we came up with 3 different approaches. The first and current approach that we're doing is making this teddy bear that's targeted for children who have social and mental health disorders and helping their parents monitor the mood and improve their mood. Our second approach was actually making a device that can go into a car, and it will help people on long commutes. And a particular application of a device that can go in a car and help with emotions is when people get angry and upset and develop road rage. And the device can detect that and be like, let's put on some calm music, let's calm down. So that's another possible approach. And lastly, a third approach was an app that can read and track emotions from teenagers who tend to be moody.
So Fred will be a medium-sized teddy bear. He will have a microphone in his hat like this, very inconspicuous, so that he can listen to the child. He will have a camera in his nose right here, and then also a speaker in his belly. So all of this works together. By the microphone, you can measure pitch and volume so that you can tell about the kid's mood at the moment. And then you can speak back with the microphone. And then he knows how to act accordingly, either with jokes or happy stories if the child is sad, or just continue conversation if the child is happy.
All right, so we're going to run a quick demo on Fred. So what it's going to do is I'm going to be able to talk to it through the microphone in its hat, and it's going to respond back conversationally. It's also going to be able to be picking up on emotional cues. One moment.
Nice to see you all. I am Fred, and I am back to bring smiles to all of the faces. Please take what I say with a grain of salt.
Hi, Fred. How are you?
Format C.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
That's great.
Yes.
That's good to hear.
So as you can see, sometimes if it didn't read that he was sad, if it had read he was sad, it would have asked if he wanted to hear a joke or told a funny story. But since he was happy and just in a normal mood, it just made casual conversation, not trying to change the mood in any way. All of this information is also going to be sent to the cloud so that parents can keep up with it when they're not home. It can send alerts when their kids are unhappy. And then if that mood changes because of Fred changed something, then it'll also send it saying the mood has changed, don't worry. So this is just an overview of what I was saying. The read emotions, the high pitch and high volume is what's going to represent happiness, and the low pitch, low volume is what's going to represent sadness. So that's how he will be reading.
All right, so we're picking up our information using machine learning. We're using a supervised machine learning classification technique to take the speech. We're picking up on the pitch and the volume, and from that, deciding a value from -1 to 1, where -1 indicates depressed and 1 indicates excitement. And then from that, we came up with an equation to model based off of these like discrete inputs, what is the current mood as older data becomes less relevant compared to newer data. And then so over time that can be tracked and modeled to say this is what your child's mood has looked like over time. This is what it's looking like he's at now. And that can all be analyzed in the cloud. And so like a psychiatrist could get some useful information from that on how the kid is doing.
So why should you choose Fred over other products? You should choose Fred because we have a voice analyzer. It continuously reads data and stores it and sends it to a parent or guardian or psychiatrist. It's also interactive. We're adding a feature where it can read faces and emotions virtually and also by voice. The only thing is we need help putting it on the market, and we believe that with more funding and more time, rather than 48 hours, we will come up with a better prototype, and it'll look a lot better too. And another thing that's important to note is that a lot of times parents don't have time to spend with their children, and they're busy with jobs, and young kids need to be looked after, and they need someone there with them all the time. This is where Fred will be helpful, and he'll be there, and he can also send data to the parent or guardian or whoever you.
Thank you very much. We'll stop here. Judges, you have 5 minutes for questions.
So one question I have is the camera. So what is the function of the camera?
So originally we had to slightly pivot to keep within our 48 hours. The original plan was that it would keep eye contact with you. And so it would do that by detecting faces and people using the camera through a HAR cascade. And then it would try and center. It would find the centroid of the face or the human, and then it would try and push that into the center of the image by sending data to the motors on go left or go right on the head. And then also in the future, we can use like machine learning, and we can try and actually look at the facial cues and learn a lot more about their emotion than just what we can get from what they're saying.
Great job, first of all. Are you going to ensure that the data that's collected stays secure? That'll be a problem that every parent will be thinking about.
That's a good point. So one thing that you could do, so it's going to have to go through the cloud, so you would just have to encrypt it. You would have to find, so everything would have to be password protected. The password could be set by either the psychiatrist, if it was being assigned by the psychiatrist, or else the parents who are setting up the toy. And then if you're storing, if you're ever doing a lot of analysis on the entire set, you can do a differential security, I think is the term for it, where you intentionally add noise to your set so that you can't, so if hackers got into the main database with all of the data, they wouldn't be able to pull out individual users from it. They would only be able to look at the data as a whole. And so that would minimize the risk of privacy invasion in the event of a hack.
How often would the toy look for the emotion?
So every time it's, or at least it's currently set, so every time it gets a speech, it's analyzing the speech, and so every time at the moment, if we move this onto an embedded device and we realize that that's slowing things down, then we could adjust that by tweaking it as needed. But currently, it's every time it detects a speech.
Okay, any other questions?
Okay, well, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Our next team is Safe Track.
Good afternoon. We're Safe Track, and our team is composed of 5 people.
Hi, I'm Justin Rodriguez, and I'm a freshman engineering major.
Howdy, I'm Arnold Gieland. I come from Belgium. I'm a biomedical engineer student.
Hi, I'm Alex Hayden. I'm a senior, and I'm also a biomedical engineering student.
Hi, I'm Arely Barrios, and I'm a senior biomedical engineer.
Omar Santos, freshman computer science major. Was to continually gather data of the living patterns of a person, gather their heart rate, and send alerts in this data to a cloud, and so they can alert a third party like their relative.
For the stakeholders, we have identified the people that would be affected by our device. So these are the family members and loved ones, the end user that are the elderly people, but also medical professionals. Our device addresses the needs of all these 3 stakeholders by maintaining the independence of the end user while providing a peace of mind for the family members. And the data collected will be useful while consulting the doctor.
Our solution has tremendous marketability, seeing that the population of elderly people is growing, especially because the baby boomer generation is aging currently.
And we narrowed our device down so that it had 3 main capabilities that we thought were important. First is heart rate. So with that, it can detect any arrhythmias, and it can estimate sleeping times. Second is movement. So it'll be able to sense abnormal activity, and also it can be able to sense falling, going up or down the stairs, and sitting. And then last but not least, we wanted to be able to effectively relay this information to people using it so that it's accessible to them and it's also easy to use. A really important aspect of our device is that it recognizes patterns. So instead of inundating people with a lot of numbers that they don't know, it'll only alert people when there's a problem. So it does this by sensing their resting heart rate. So that differs from person to person. So the heart rate readings will be more accurate if it'll have a learning curve to detect their regular heart rate. And then in addition to movement, it'll detect usually at what time they pass which sensors, and then also how long about they stay in each room, and if something's abnormal if they stay in the room too long.
As far as technical requirements, we use a color-coded system to help us prioritize. And the main requirements that we came up with was that we wanted to accurately monitor any trends in behavior and health. Also, we wanted to alert if there was any deviations. We want to store data and the alerts. We want it to be comfortable for the user. We want to limit the number of false alarms. And 2 preliminary concepts that we had was to have continuous alerts that were set off by motion sensors. But we thought that this was too, this invaded privacy. We also had an audio system interaction that helped. It was more of like setting a reminder for them so that they could stay on track with their daily routines.
The solution we developed is a combination of a bracelet worn by the elderly person, a set of motion sensors placed around the elderly person's home, and a mobile app used by the younger loved one. So the bracelet collects data, uses sensors such as a heart rate monitor and an accelerometer, and then in combination with the motion sensors around the home, data such as heart rate, movement, and movement around the home is stored in the cloud. If there are any abnormalities detected within that data sent, then an alert will be sent to the loved one via our mobile app. This weekend, we developed several prototypes, both dealing with our aesthetic form with the wristband, and we also developed technical prototypes that use the heart rate monitor and the accelerometer and movement sensor.
So here we have the data for the PPG. It's a green light. So it uses a sensor. You put it here. As you can tell, I'm getting data of my pulse. So when we send this to the cloud, it'll make a graph kind of like the one on the bottom right. So if there's nothing abnormal, it'll tell the user. Also, we have this. Those will be the monitors for the rooms. They'll be placed hip level around the house. So you can tell when someone passes by, it's going to turn red. It's going to send that data to cloud to set up a timeline for the person. Also, this is going to come with an accelerometer. It's going to set up graphs like the ones on top. So that's normal, like sleeping, waking, walking, or eating. So when there's like a big spike, change the direction, it'll tell the user like the person most likely fell. We look at other products in the market with the life alert is a button you press. We didn't like this because if the person is not responsive, they won't be able to call for help. That's why your product does it. Also, a cam for the elderly will be invasive for the privacy. We don't want that.
So you might be wondering what sets us apart from other technologies. This is really similar to technologies on the market today, like the Fitbit. And we just kind of wanted to tell you why we're different. So the Fitbit, it tracks physiological parameters, which we also do that. But we also store movement data. So it's all sent to one device. It's not coming from multiple sources. Well, it's coming from multiple sources, but it's sent to one easy to use device, which is the mobile app that we discussed earlier. It also, you don't have to press a button. So with Life Alert, it doesn't require any interactions like that. And then last but not least, we use patterns. So we're not notifying, that's our app. We're not notifying the user of information that they don't really care about. We only notify them if there is a problem that they should probably know about. So that kind of sets us apart from our competitors.
As far as future applications, in the future, we want to add additional sensors. We want to evaluate nutritional intake. We want to set reminders to the users to make sure they stay on track with their medications, their daily activities, their personal hygiene. And we also want to integrate with existing technologies. So if they already have a Fitbit or a smartwatch, our app will be able to gather that data, analyze it, and still output accurate results.
Thank you very much for your attention. At this time, we'll take any questions you may have.
All right, judges, any questions?
So, yeah, one question. You seem to have focused a lot on, say, indoor environment, rooms, etc. So have you given any thought to outdoors?
Yes, we looked at GPS monitoring, which is used for patients with like dementia who might wander off. And that is something in the future that we could incorporate. But for now, we thought this was more, it was more local movement, which we haven't seen as many devices that do that. And we thought it could be just kind of a unique way to observe like if there's any problems that arrive. Like if the person is in the washing room for an hour, you know that's not normal, and so you can send an alert. But yeah, we have thought about maybe in the future, maybe we can add a GPS tracking device just in case they do wander off.
But we want to emphasize the importance of the fact that we analyze patterns in their behavior and that we can detect deviations from this. And that's really what sets us apart, we think.
So how much learning goes on to start? You figure out what kind of patterns the particular person would have.
So first, when they first use it, their normal heart rate. So when they wear it, it's gonna detect like their normal heart rate, like doing nothing. So from there, they can go on like any differences.
Yeah, I think we haven't quantitatively decided like how much time exactly we think it would take, but we do know that there would be a learning curve, and like the resting heart rate would be really easy to find because after analyzing that for a while, you can get a pretty good estimate of their resting heart rate, and it depends from person to person what their resting heart rate is. So we think that'll be more accurate. As far as the movement, like we said, we are going to try to look at their patterns, their daily patterns. And this, again, differs from person to person. But the focus of it will be if they haven't gotten out of bed, for an example, like if they haven't gotten out of bed by 2 p.m., you could assume something's wrong. So these are more like alerts that you should be aware of. They might be at risk. They might have health problems going on.
In addition to the alerts notifying individuals when there's a problem, within that alert, have you guys thought about how to solve that problem? Sending that in the alert? For example, I'm dehydrated. Reminder, drink 2 glasses of water within the next hour.
Yeah.
For the user experience, we really wanted to make the elderly person's experience with our product as simple as possible to start off with, at least. So that's why we have no instructions for the elderly person. It's just put on the wristband and that's it.
Any other questions?
Okay, thanks very much, judges. Thank y'all very much. Great job. The next team is Guardian Electronics, and y'all can go ahead and get set up. This now, but 3 o'clock on Sunday is going to be about 2 hours from now, and nobody believed me until now. And now you realize it really was. It passes very, very quickly.
She's like,
Here you go. Ready? All right, take it away.
All right, howdy. We are Guardian Electronics. My name is Jennifer Jordan. I'm a junior in electronic systems engineering.
My name is James O'Connell. I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering major.
My name is Alexis Crandall. I'm also a junior in the Electronic Systems Engineering Technology program.
And my name is Colby Ryan, and I'm also in Electronic Systems Engineering Technology.
I'm Millie Creel. I'm an electrical engineering sophomore.
My name is Christian Ekalongo, and I'm an electronic systems engineering junior.
And we would like to start off our presentation by giving you a little product introduction. I'm sure that everyone has had a time in their life where you lived with roommates in an apartment or dorm and had to share a washer and dryer. Think of all the time you wasted waiting on others to get their clothes out of the dryer or waited for the washer to stop so yours didn't have to sit around. That was valuable time that could have been spent elsewhere. Here at Guardian Electronics, we have created an off-the-shelf turnkey solution that'll give you back that freedom. Our innovative solution combines the use of smart technology and simple electronics to make any washer anywhere intelligent. Instead of sitting and waiting for a load to finish, why not use your time more wisely and come back after you've received a text message? Guardian Electronics offers a simple, portable system made up of a pair of devices that can monitor 2 machines at once. Place the magnetic sensors on each machine and spend your time worry-free. The laundry puck saves data collected from your device to generate predictive maintenance as necessary. Based on vibrational patterns, trends can be analyzed to alert users when faulty patterns are detected. This saves you the hassle of unexpected failure of expensive electronics. This data collection can be scaled up to larger manufacturing operations to decrease the risk of costly downtime. The laundry puck provides you with the tools needed to maximize your time.
Statement, we identified an issue concerning shared laundry spaces, which is wasted time. People are waiting for their roommates to empty the machine or having to rewash a load of laundry because they left it in the washer too long. Our second problem expanded from this. We found concerning unexpected downtime from machines that fail that could have been monitored with preventative maintenance. Our design requirements. Our device needs to wirelessly connect for data acquisition and notification systems. Our device also needs to be non-invasive. We want our users to stay safe and not have to interfere with the machine. Our third requirement is to support multiple users. You don't want to have a notification every single time your roommate does their laundry. Our last requirement is monitoring device status. We need to be able to, in a timely manner, notify our users when their laundry cycle is complete.
So the 3 basic approaches we came up with to solve this issue was first, a physical pass-through current monitoring system. This would be placed in between the device and the outlet power and basically use a voltage divider circuit system to monitor the current going through. The second was induction-based current monitoring, which would essentially use an inductive monitor on the outside of the wire to measure the current flowing through as well. But the last solution we came up with, which was ultimately the one we decided to go with, was the accelerometer-based monitoring system, which uses movement detection to tell you whether the device is on or off. So as you can see through our concept generation, we went through a little bit of pivoting this weekend. First, our initial idea was to use the pass-through, like a mixture of the pass-through device with inductive monitoring. But based on a lot of market research and talking to Accenture, we found that the market is kind of saturated already with a lot of power monitoring devices, and it's kind of invasive and unsafe to plug some or to try to install something in between your device when you're working with such high voltages and currents. So ultimately, we decided to go with the accelerometer to measure the motion because it'd be the most simple and elegant solution. It's non-invasive and it's unique. There's nothing like it right now.
So the situation that we're most commonly going to be dealing with is a communal laundry space. You can walk into a shared laundry room, such as in a dorm or an apartment complex, and you can have your laundry basket. Out of your laundry basket, you're going to pull your laundry pucks. It comes as a pair. You're going to take the two devices and you're going to stick them on the washers. You're going to load your lights and darks, and then you're going to walk away. You're going to go read, get coffee, talk on the phone, and then when your laundry's ready, you're going to get a text message. So you can come back, move your laundry into the dryer, move the pucks over, and get another notification when your laundry is finished. What our system allows is accelerometer-based readings. So in order to measure that, we needed to simulate vibrations from the machine. So we have this this scale model washing machine with a motor and a motor control circuit in it. But our device, accelerometer-based device, is going to communicate with a cloud-based server, and it's going to push SMS, text notifications, or tweets to a cloud-based server that goes then to a phone, tablet, or to Google and populates Google Sheets, allowing us to collect data.
So here we have a system, and here's the MSP 432 Launchpad with the additional stack of different boards and controls. And this can be mounted onto the washer anywhere using magnetics. So this would be mounted onto your system, and you would be able to turn on your system. And basically, while it's seeing that there is a motion, it knows that, hey, there's something going on. The cycle's not done yet. And there's a bit of a delay so that it can tell if it's between cycles or if the load's actually done. But if the load's been done for a reasonable amount of time, and I just got a text message, and it says, my laundry is done. So, and that's pushing through to the cloud and then sending a text message from there. Okay. So along with this, we have an app for future development of what we're doing. And this can give the user an interface to see that data, as well as you can see for the expansion, there's the power monitoring that's available. And then here, this is the data being pushed to Google Sheets, as well as a live line graph that's being generated off of this data so that you can see trends and differences and things that are being caused from that motion.
And now I bet you're wondering what makes us unique from other competitors on the market, because smart technology is not a new thing. As you can see from the matrix, we've created a bit of a competitive analysis. But the one thing that we see differentiating ourselves from the rest of the market is our portability. You can take us anywhere. And while the other devices might be small and simple, you can't normally take them out of your home. You can't just put them together, throw them in your bag, and go to a washing mat or go downstairs to the dorms. You have to have it integrated into your house or integrated into some other kind of circuit. So that is what our product is going to give the consumer, is something, a better way to become smart with their technology without spending all the money.
All right, so I'm running low on time here. I just really want to accentuate the fact that in designing, we made our initial product very modular and very easily scalable and very easily expandable. So initially we were working with the shared household kind of scenario. So, you know, like dorms or, you know, like hotels or Harvey Washbangers, things like that, where you could very easily just attach a puck and maybe have some sort of user interface that somebody comes in, slides their ID, and it loads their name and number onto this washer, and it'll give you a text when that's done. So in terms of scalability, you can either scale it up or down depending on where you want to go or what you want to do. In terms of retail, I mean, it's basically the same thing as a dorm. You just attach it and text while you're out or cooking dinner or whatever. But we really wanted to accentuate the industry part of it, because in designing, we realized that this could very easily be applied to industry in terms of pumps or plants or motors and such things, especially with possible sensors that could come along, not just the accelerometer, but, you know, maybe we do come up with a pass-through current device. And so on our next slide, we have some contact information and some of our social media, and we'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right, judges, do you have any questions?
As far as the market that you'll be selling this product to, would it be the actual landlords and they would attach it to their washer and dryers? Would it be the students, the actual users of the machines?
So what we envision is a turnkey product. It's a two-part system. So you're going to have a parent device and a child device. The parent device is going to have an accelerometer. It's going to have Bluetooth low energy, and it's going to have Wi-Fi. The child device is going to have an accelerometer and Bluetooth low energy. What that allows you to do is monitor multiple devices at the same time and create our own network that can be scaled up from there. So our initial target audience and our target market is going to be college students or residential, single-family homes where either somebody wants to know when their load is done because they've got multiple loads to do in the household, or if you've got multiple people using the same laundry facility. Now, we can pivot from there and we can scale it up and we can start monitoring anything with motion. So we can put our device on a pump, on a motor, anything where we can develop a trend, and then we can look for deviations of that from that trend that will then allow us to do predictive maintenance. So we can replace a bearing before we get downtime.
In order to, I guess, more directly answer your question, I suppose in terms of the university or something like that, the landlord or owner of the hotel or whatever would indeed own these devices, put that on there, and then we would provide an interface that the customers can interact with. But more retail or more, say, an apartment or something like that, then in that case, the customers would have their own, and it wouldn't necessarily be up to the landlords to buy them and put them on their machines and have this interface for them. The customers would bring it if they want or not. But in the dorm scenario, that would be the case where the university or what have you owns the devices.
What's the price point you're saying of some of this item?
We're still working on that.
Yeah, it's a little hard to judge without doing a little bit more design work on it, because we would be taking that stack there and condensing it and then kind of going into what our costs would be on side of the cloud services.
Yeah, the reason we have so many boards right now is because we wanted to get, powered by itself, so we had a battery pack, and one of the boards has an accelerometer. So we have all these stacks, so we really don't need all of them. Ideally, be condensed into one board, so the price would be a lot.
Our final product that we're envisioning is going to be about the size of a hockey puck. The two devices will mate together, allow charging between the two of them, and then wireless connectivity.
How would you ensure the hockey side of the device wouldn't walk away? Cool, I'll take that.
So we actually had someone ask that question earlier. And in the case of a retail or something like that, so let's say Harvey Wash Bangers, like if they had gotten that because it makes their machines more efficient because people are likely to come back faster so they can do more turnover. Well, something like that, moving forward into that environment, it might be something where these become permanently mountable. So in that type of environment, that makes a little bit more sense to go that route. As far as users here in college, I know Aggies are pretty honest and don't steal things. So I know we're good here, but
in the long run, what we could do is when you purchase your initial device, you could sync it with your own phone, and that would be what it is for life. We essentially would try to make it cheap enough to where if you were to replace your phone, it wouldn't be too expensive to replace your hockey pucks. But that way, if someone walks off with it, it would be completely useless to their own phone.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And the next team is Hybrid ID.
We tried it.
Is it too loud?
No,
No.
I had to do
I'm gonna put it to 70. That's where it was when you tried it. And the reason is because it's up at 100 and we tried it at 70, it was a little loud. Yeah. Okay.
Just to let everyone know, we'll be taking about a 5-minute break, 5 to 10-minute break after this presentation. So give you a chance to stretch your legs and get ready for the rest of the presentations. Ready? Okay, take it away.
Howdy, my name is Derek Richards. I'm a junior electrical engineering major.
Howdy, my name is William McCandless. I'm a freshman mechanical engineering major.
Howdy, my name is Kyle Bohutch. I am a junior electrical engineering major.
Howdy, my name is Carlos Castillo, and I am a senior electrical engineer.
Howdy, my name is Julio Garza, and I'm a freshman mechanical engineering major.
Howdy, my name is Daryl Jacob, and I'm in CSE freshman. And together, we're Team Hybrid IT.
Okay, now we'll show you the video.
But it feels like an elephant shape.
The current IDs, they're too easy to lose. The current IDs, they're not secure at all. The current IDs haven't progressed since 1969. So what's our solution? Our solution is hybrid ID.
So the purpose is to innovate a new ID and to allow it to join into the new IoT, which is the engineering code.
So basic overview, we're going to tell you about our initial concept. We're going to dive into what prototypes we chose to tackle while we were here at Aggies Invent, and then we're going to move into a business model of what this would look like in the future, and then we're going to wrap it up with a big picture of what we tried to accomplish. So here's some of so we chose to prototype the attendance. So walking into a classroom and then proving that you're there, and then dining dollars, which would be some sort of way of using your phone to track your dining dollars or using it to pay for purchases. Some of the future features that we would want to have on the app are listed here. One of the main ones that we want to focus on is like quizzes. You can take quizzes during class from your phone. And then our ambitions would be to be within 50 universities in 5 years and maybe even apply it to corporate settings. So the first thing we tried to tackle while we were here was attendance, and we chose to use Bluetooth because Bluetooth is a very good way to say you're in a proximity of an area. So from your device, we said, look for a beacon, and when you see the beacon, try to connect to it, and then when you connect to the beacon, it'll send your UIN, your identification number from iCampus, to the beacon. The beacon would then pair that with its room number and send that to the cloud, where the computing in the cloud would say, oh, this person was in this class at this time, so they were there for that day. We thought that was a little bit too complicated. We decided to streamline it and do a little bit of a different concept. So the beacon is just constantly broadcasting its name. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And it's sending that to the cloud, and I can access that from my phone. So on the app, I would say it would list what rooms are available, and it parses it so that it only shows rooms that have hybrid ID in the name or have some sort of secure way to only show the rooms that I can connect to that are one of our devices. And then when I click connect to it, it says you've been connected to room 1, and it would send from my phone instead of from the beacon using my phone's Wi-Fi capabilities. It would send that to the cloud, and then it would say, hey, and then the cloud would match the room with the UIN, and if the room names are equal, that means I was in class that day.
So we thought about a few technologies we use to make payment easier at our cafeteria here at Sabisa or different restaurants here on campus. So we thought about using QR codes. QR codes, we went against that just because it requires the right amount of light and it's not as fast as NFC. We chose NFC for its convenience, its ease of use, and its secure application. It's easier to secure than a QR code, which can be spoofed. And so that is just a quick diagram of how we set up our device here. Here's our prototype. His phone is acting as a NFC card, and this is our reader here that we created. So you see it's outputting on the screen. This would be successful authentication with the card. So we have we feel like NFC can be scaled up to a lot of different applications. And so we'll show you that in the rest of our slides.
So now this is the app that you saw at the end of our video. And we try to make it like as user-friendly as we could. This is just a prototype, but it embodies what we wanted to give the user, which is the feeling that they still had their ID with them. So when you would click the hybrid logo, you could see your ID with your UIN and other important information. If you click another tab, you could see like alerts, code maroon. You could also use it to say quizzes, as we said, and attendance with the Bluetooth that he showed in his phone.
Now, for security and access, we have a 2-level identification system. The first being your login for your phone. Once you bypass that, once you put in your password, then you have another password for the app itself. And so that's 2 passwords right there. And you can even include biometrics like your thumbprint on the phone. And that makes it a lot more secure than just losing it on the ground. You could, someone else can just pick that up. But if you lose your phone, then they can't get inside the password and stuff. For the dead battery, there's a little bit of a problem with that with getting access to it. There's plenty of charging stations on campus, and we're not going to require people to not have their plastic ID that's issued to them during freshman orientation. And if there's any suspicious behavior, such as like a credit card, something of that sort, then you can just track and see what's going on and see if it's illegal activity, and you can shut it down before it impacts you even further. Now, there are 2 main benefits. The first main benefit would be that the university is able to have big data that it can use to help improve the quality of life on campus. But the other one is convenience for the students. And so you can even in the future reduce expenditures for the clicker, which is a separate hardware piece that you buy. It's about $60 from a consumer price. And you can gauge the impact of certain problems that can happen on campus. If you have a disaster, you can assess the problems quickly. And you also have the ability of attendance and connect on campus through transportation and stuff as well.
So just to kind of wrap it all together, right now at Aggies Invent, we tried to focus mainly on attendance and dining dollars. Those are the 2 things we tried to tackle, using NFC to prove that we could pay for, pay for something using our phones, and then doing attendance via Bluetooth. In the future, we could do some of these other applications, such as taking quizzes, 911 emergencies, taking out books in the library. Right now, you use your ID to check out books, use your ID to get into sporting events that aren't football games. You could use your phone and the same NFC code to act as your UIN and get into those events as well. Getting into your dorm also uses your ID. And you could even have it hooked up to TAMU's website and display your GPA and your schedule as well.
So the big picture is to connect students with the campus and to bring the student ID to the 21st century.
Just wanted to say like a big thanks to everybody because we had a lot of help and a lot of great people helped us out. Texas Instruments and Accenture, thank you guys so much. EIC, great availability with products and stuff, really appreciate it. And also the food was amazing, so always a good thing to have there.
Question?
Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Judges, any questions?
I always have a question. So one of your key features that you advertise is tracking attendance. Not to say I've ever done this, but what if I go to class, right? It tracks that I'm there and I leave 30 seconds later. You track that the person actually left and then that would not count as true attendance. How are you tracking that?
Right. So hopefully through the app, we would have it, consistent, like checking over time. You would allow permission for it to be checking Wi-Fi over time and saying, okay, you're still in proximity of this Bluetooth device. You're still in proximity of this Bluetooth device. Just every maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes checking, maybe at the beginning and the end of class, checking to see that you were there the entire time. Check in, check out, maybe that type of thing. But once you say check in once, it's giving it you're basically giving it permission to say that, okay, check again in 20 minutes if I'm still in class, something like that.
With this information, I think you alluded to this, you provide it back to the professor of the class so that they can track the attendance.
Right.
Any other questions?
What do you think is the time you may need to actually make this real?
Yeah, a lot of this is software side, I think. A lot of this is app development, and then what we have the basic hardware capabilities already. And these parts are probably more than we would need on something that just needs to emit a Bluetooth signal, or something that just needs to read an NFC code. But time-wise, we haven't really thought about it. What do you guys think?
It depends on how you get
It would depend how we implement it on like the back end side, who would handle all this information and keeping who keeps the information. Are we going to keep it on a third party, or is the university going to manage it? Do they need like additional infrastructure, IT infrastructure, things of that nature? We really have to work out. Yeah, see what would be better.
An actual time frame would be about half a year for writing software. Okay, negotiating contracts and seeing what all are our options and what's the best way to really make this work for the university and for the students.
So have you considered the amount of software hardware development you need to do to conform to a lot of the standards on security?
Yeah, that's one of the big things that we've been looking into, because we know just like industry example would be like Apple Pay. They've already integrated chips into their phones to make the credit card secure. So there's a lot of research already done into that. And we did a little bit of research ourselves, and that's why we went with NFC, because we know it has more security capabilities. But we don't know what the time frame would be for getting that to work with our device.
But the largest amount of time would be spent on the software side, making sure everything is encrypted and secure and readily accessible to the university students. So app development, big one too.
So I think in addition to that, any consideration on multi-platforms?
Yes.
Android versus Apple is always the big.
Right, it's
Yeah.
scalable. So we want it to be mobile and scalable, available on both.
The only update for this prototype was Android.
And yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. I have 10 minutes after 4, so at 20 minutes after 4, we will get started again. Thank you very much.
can go into the design slides. Like,
I think what we're trying to do can be
All right, welcome back. We've taken a short break. We're going to finish out strong with 3 more presentations. As you can see, there's been a tremendous amount of work and really great ideas. So thank you very much for everything that you've got going on. Students, just so that you know, I don't want you to take your prototypes apart. I want you to put them in my office or put them on the table so that we can hold on to them for you. If you've taken anything out of the EIC, go ahead and check it back in after the presentations. But don't take your prototypes apart. We'll hold on to them for you. Okay? Let's now hear from the next team. This is IntelliPath. They're going to solve our traffic problems.
Get on. Let's get your presentation up. There you go.
I am Murtaz Malham. I'm a PhD student in electrical engineering.
Hello, I'm Mason Herpin. I'm a senior mechanical engineer here at Texas A&M.
Howdy, I am Nabil Musaji, computer science major junior here at Texas A&M.
Hi, I'm Paulina. I'm mechanical engineering, and this is my senior year.
Howdy, I'm Shamari Reed. I'm studying nuclear engineering, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Gabriel Stella. I'm a freshman in computer science, and we are in IntelliPath.
Traffic is often due to construction, an accident, or bottlenecks created by on-ramps and tunnels. But do you ever feel like congestion just seems to appear for no reason? You aren't imagining it. In a 2008 experiment, drivers were instructed to drive along a circular road, following the car in front of them while trying to maintain a constant speed. As the participants drove, they started to have fluctuations in the speed. These fluctuations increased, eventually causing cars to stop completely, which broke the free flow and led to traffic jams without any added factors. Researchers compare traffic jams to the particles in a liquid and a solid. Moving cars are like the free-flowing particles in a liquid, but can undergo a phase transition to that of a compacted solid. Once the particles or cars reach a critical density, gridlock happens. One of the key reasons gridlock happens is our inability to maintain a constant speed. When a traffic break happens, most accelerate to catch up to the vehicle ahead, resulting in eventual braking that forces the drivers behind to slow down, only causing the jam.
Traffic. I imagine, everybody here has been stuck in traffic before. It can get pretty horrible. You could be sitting waiting for quite a bit of time on a road. So as explained in the video, a lot of traffic is actually caused by just braking ahead. So there doesn't necessarily have to be an accident or anything. So if somebody brakes up ahead and that causes the people behind them to brake, which can cause kind of like a wave propagation through the flow of traffic. So what we're trying to do with our design is minimize this propagation. So the problem with traffic is it's additive and it's getting worse every year. Population is increasing rapidly in urban areas. So with increasing population, you have more people driving, obviously more people on the road that are causing traffic incidents. Inclement weather causes many accidents, and in general, people will drive slower and more, are not as safely whenever they are in inclement weather.
Our design requirements, actually, we are interested in decreasing the roadway congestion caused by high vehicle density. and synchronize road signals with the traffic rather than having fixed signals. We will introduce digital signals that change the required speeds according to the traffic. Provide an economical solution where the number of accidents will decrease and the number of police requirements to go to solve the problems will decrease. Weatherproof to solve traffic caused by weather issues, and properly distribute data and decisions, and reduce the dangers that are caused by some weather conditions. We have 3 design alternatives. The first approach is to use a GPS app that detects the locations of the cars inside the traffic lanes of our concern, and to use wireless sensor networks, which we are introducing today, and broadcasting data to the drivers.
So the basic idea of our solution is to figure out the correct velocity for a certain length of roadway to minimize the traffic impacting. So we figure out a theoretical maximum density. So, cars are laid end to end along a length, and that is the theoretical maximum density of cars that can be in an area. And we determine a ratio, so how many cars are in this length of road compared to how many cars could there be. And we determine the best velocity for the vehicles behind this traffic incident based on the density ratio. In addition to that, so we have these sensors that pick up whenever a car drives by, and we know whenever a car enters a path or a segment of road, and we know when a car leaves a segment. So if a bunch of cars are entering and none are leaving, we can assume that it's adding to the density of this road segment. And we send that data to a server, which is not on the table. It's a computer that compiles all of our data. And that uses an algorithm to display and calculate a speed limit, a digital speed limit right there.
Our project started off with just a paper model, which you can see on the far left-hand side. From there, we went on to do 3D models on 3D designs. From there, we did coding, which is definitely the longest part of our project. But when we finished, we came out with this. And when it all came together, we definitely credited all of our hard work, but it all was worthwhile.
So our demo contains 4 microcontrollers. 3 of them are mounted on the road, and all those have 3 modules of Wi-Fi, each of them, and they transmit data to the server, and that is sent to the 4th microcontroller, which has a screen, and whatever the data is received from it, and the processed data is sent on the screen and is displayed.
Okay, so this is kind of a partial video because this is connected to Wi-Fi and the signal here. Back behind each segment, because our theory was that if it gets clogged up here, we want to pull people back so that they don't meet the traffic and make it even worse. And so what we can do is we take the data, the density for each segment, and we have a multiplier and a maximum and minimum velocity that can be allowed on the road. And then we apply it kind of to the previous segment. And then all that data sent over Wi-Fi to the server, and then the server takes that, calculates it, and sends it to speed limit signs just like that. And so they will, in real time, as it's updated, change the speed. And that's essentially the theoretical model. It was a linear relationship between density and speed. And as you can see, it's kind of a step pattern because we wanted the speed limits to be increments of 5. So you never see 52, you see 50, 55, 75.
Our contribution to society is that we're going to reduce our carbon waste. We're going to look at carbon footprints. We're going to look at how much fossil fuel output we're going to put, because fossil fuel waste actually costs our nation a lot of money. It's an estimated $87.2 billion worth of waste to just get rid of all of our fossil waste. And by doing that, we're also going to lower our stress levels by getting rid of all that road rage, so you guys don't have to travel to work and have to sit through that traffic every day.
All right, where do we go from here? We can start at small cities, because small cities is an easy way to plan ahead and then go to big cities. The urban cities where it's really important. We can also make it weather, like when it's inclement weather, we can want the speed limit to get lower because we don't want people to speed while it's raining or snowing. And also we can have these in police and ambulances because we want the police and ambulances to also slow
Okay,
down.
thank you very much. That's 5 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. So thank you very much. Judges, there's time for questions.
How are you going to ensure that drivers abide by the speed limit? Because we know they don't today. So have you thought about issuing tickets if drivers don't abide by your speed limit, they go over a certain range? Because we all know that people are going to look at that sign, just drive right by, speed up, and then your problem isn't solved.
Actually, this should be a collaboration between us and cities. So they will put radars. If drivers exceed the speed limit that we put here, they will catch it. So it is further step to our project that radars will be developed to be synchronized with the speed limit that is delivered to the traffic that's delivered to the signs. Rather than the radars have a fixed speed limit, it will have changed. Its speed limit will change according to our requirements.
And one of our kind of design philosophies was that we didn't want to implement anything that would be too forceful. Because like in general, people do, even if they do speed, they're not going to go like 200 on a 70, and they're not going to go like 60 on a 30 unless it's Houston, but so it was kind of a difficult problem because we want to have information and we want to help make people safe and we want to reduce traffic. But the worry was that if we implemented something too forceful, like fines or automatic punishments, that it would be taken down, just like how many times cities that put up the red lights cameras, those get taken down. So we didn't want anything too forceful.
How does your model update itself for stationary obstacles, things like construction, out of wreck, the lanes is gone?
Ultrasonic sensor detects the distance of a moving vehicle. So there is no vehicle, the distance is 11 feet. When the vehicle passes by, the distance changes to 8 feet or how high it is. And that's how we get to know that the vehicle passed by. The change of distance of within a second.
The way you can know if there's something like a wreck is that we're assuming that that kind of thing would cause traffic. And so if there is a wreck and everybody was stopped behind it, we would be able to see that there was a massive, big density of cars in that segment. And we could know, oh, there's something wrong there.
So I see you have given a lot of thought to single lane traffic. So how do you work with multiple lanes, people changing lanes, and maybe one lane gets backed up, but other lanes are moving? How do you collaborate across the lanes?
Actually, what we are considering, our solution is traffic-based rather than lane-based. So it's just as a this is just as a memo. So our focusing is how much are how much is the traffic within a distance, not within some width. So we want to decrease the number of the cars in specific segment length, regardless of the size of the lane. So we have a basic, we made some simple researches inside the net that there is a threshold of the traffic density. After that, there is a danger or there is a possibility of traffic to be occurred.
This is what we have right now is a very simple model because traffic really is a massive, very complicated problem. But there are ways like that we could expand into multiple lanes, different ways to control the traffic and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you going to determine the length of the segments to measure? Assuming they'd be different segments on the highway, a 5-lane highway versus small town road.
Some data will be empirical based on the studies about how traffic are in that lanes. So we'll put sensors at different lengths. For example, in the highways in Houston, we have more traffic, and so we'll put in smaller segments than a highways that has this traffic issue.
It's just a simple change of variable from then. The length is just defined arbitrarily like a mile, but in practice, whenever they actually go and incorporate these sensors, they would define length to be.
Like each sensor could know where it is, and something like that.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this. So thank you very much. I have an interesting announcement, and that is that our computer is forcing a restart here in about a minute and a half. So we're going to take a pause, let it restart, force it to restart now, and we'll get going again probably in about 5 minutes. We can't seem to stave it off, so we're going to go ahead and force it now in between, and we'll come right back to you. So, Bianca.